CTV News at 5 with Marina Moore and Tony Rima with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The 18-year-old accused of murder in the death of OPP Constable Tarun Bali in Hearst was in court today. Justin Verano is charged with first-degree murder after police say he hit Constable Bali with a vehicle after fleeing the hospital in Hearst where he was being assessed under the Mental Health Act. According to police, Bali was attempting to stop Verano when he was killed. In court today, Verano's lawyers said they were still going through disclosure from the Crown and asked for 3 weeks to finish their review. During the hearing, his lawyer wanted it on the record that Verano has not been receiving his prescribed medication while in jail, saying he was not getting proper medical care and asked for this to be remedied. Verano will be back in court September 9th. Police are investigating a homicide in Chiging First Nation on Manitoulin Island. UCCM Anishinaabe Police Service were called to a home on Lakeshore Road Monday regarding a severely injured person. Investigators say a 17-year-old female was found deceased upon arrival. Two people, a 17-year-old female and a 19-year-old male, were arrested and charged with second-degree murder. Police believe this is an isolated incident and that there's no threat to public safety. We're told the identity of the victim will not be released. Police in Greater Sudbury are renewing calls for information on a 2-year-old murder case. Pat Forbes was found dead in Bell Park July 31st, 2024. Police say the 36-year-old had unexplained injuries resulting in the death being classified as a homicide. Investigators are asking anyone who had contact with him or interacted with him July 30th, 2024 to come forward. They're also looking to speak to anyone who was in Bell Park in the early morning hours the day Forbes' body was found. Time now for our first check on weather, and while the sun has been out today, pretty soon the rain will roll in. For more of those details, we go to CTV's Tony Rima.
Thanks for that, Marina, and good evening, everyone. Let's start with our forecast radar. And by the way, your first weather is brought to you by CAA. Get your membership by going to getcaa.ca. So just pockets of activity overnight, maybe a shower or two. Thursday, not all that bad. Friday, that's when we start to see things cloud over. A chance of showers in through Sault Ste. Marie, Chapleau, Kapuskasing, and Timmins. So things are going to be unsettled, especially tonight. Tomorrow, not so bad. Friday is a different matter. Marina.
Thanks for that, Tony. At least 12 buildings were evacuated in Sudbury's Minnow Lake area today due to a natural gas leak investigation. This was the scene around 9:30 this morning on Bancroft Drive near 3rd Avenue in Minnow Lake. Sudbury's fire chief tells CTV News the hazmat team was working with Enbridge Gas on monitoring and assessing the leak. Emergency crews cleared the scene late this afternoon, but Enbridge crews found damage to natural gas infrastructure and remain on scene to complete repairs. A push for involuntary addictions treatment has been making headlines in communities across Ontario lately, and in Sudbury, organizations are joining together advocating for evidence-based harm reduction instead. More from CTV's Madison Merrier.
Sudbury's Mayor Paul Lefebvre spoke with other Ontario big city mayors this week regarding more provincial support related to homelessness, mental health, and addiction. He says one of the major topics of discussion was involuntary treatment.
It's unanimous across the municipalities that we want the province to step in to do more with respect to the housing opportunities, helping the ones that would want to, that want and need the help, and the ones that are not well enough to decide on their own. What can we do to support them better?
If it's getting worse and we're just throwing money at it, it's a Band-Aid. We should be looking at better solutions. And I'm willing to work with all levels of government and all parties. It's a nonpartisan issue.
Meanwhile, several support organizations say these concerns cannot be used as justification for removing people's autonomy.
The systems are already overloaded, and there's major gaps within the care between the healthcare system, the judicial system, as well as the recovery-focused portion of that piece. So, we're really advocating for solutions that will help those that want the help first before we ever consider providing any kind of involuntary anything to anybody else.
Ali says she is concerned with the involuntary support request as it shows a reduced success rate and a higher number of fatalities. She says there are other areas that leaders should be looking at.
It really just comes down to like the province and the federal government stepping up and saying like, okay, we need to resolve this housing crisis yesterday. We've spent years upon years, all of us as advocates, advocating for the supports that we need, and the supports needed has not changed.
I understand where they're coming from, that they feel that maybe that there's another way, but I think we've tried other ways and they failed, and we're still seeing more and more people that are struggling more than ever.
Both politicians and support organizations agree changes need to be made, especially in long-term programming and housing. However, Lefebvre says there is a small group of people putting pressure on these systems that needs to be addressed. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Time now for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5, Tony has your full weather forecast. For now, let's take a live look at conditions in North Bay, where you can see a mix of sun and cloud hovering over Lake Nipissing and the downtown area. We'll be right back.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Welcome back, everyone. Now your main weather on our forecast radar. Pockets of activity, not a bad day out there, but things are going to become a little more unsettled, not so much on Thursday, but on Friday as the system starts to bring clouds and shower activity in through Sault Ste. Marie, Chapleau, Kapuskasing. That's going to spill over in an easterly fashion and also going to be, giving us some thunderstorms in through Wawa, Sault Ste. Marie, off and on. And take a look at this system again. Going to be intense at times. So Friday, unsettled. Temperature should be 22 to 23 degrees Celsius as a daytime high. As we take a look at the temperatures, not all that bad out there. And things are coming along. They go up, they go down. And over the next few days, you might see a spike in temperature and then things will be lower. Okay, let's take a look at your 5-day weather forecast, starting with Sudbury Nickel Belt. As I mentioned, tomorrow is going to be a great day. 21 degrees as the daytime high. Beautiful sunshine for the most part. Friday, increasing cloud cover, a chance of rain. Unsettled in through Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, sun, cloud, and 40% chance of showers. For Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, just a gorgeous day shaping up there. 22 degrees, spot on this time of year. And through Friday, clouds roll in, more rain, more precipitation expected in through Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures dropping ever so slightly. Monday, sun, cloud, and rain. 21 as a daytime high. For Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, mostly sunny, 20 degrees, a little below normal, should be about 22 this time of year. And through Friday, a chance of some rain, and that rain is going to stick around in through Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, cooling off ever so slightly to 19 degrees as a daytime high. For Timiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, mostly sunny tomorrow, 21 degrees on Friday. You'll see more clouds, a chance of rain, and that rain is going to spill over into Saturday and Sunday. Monday, 19 degrees and a 40% chance of showers. And finally, folks, your 5-day weather forecast for North Bay, West Nipissing. Beautiful sunshine tomorrow, 22 degrees, should be 23 this time of year in through North Bay, almost at the normal temp in through there. Friday, increasing cloud cover, and that carries over into Saturday and Sunday. Monday, 40% chance of rain coming in at 20 degrees. Marina, it's back over to you.
Thank you, Tony. More than 460 unionized workers at the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board across Ontario have lost their jobs, including almost 200 here in Northern Ontario. CTV's Angela Gemmel has the details.
Came to us as an absolute surprise. This has been a gut punch.
466 unionized employees at the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board across Ontario got pink slips today. 238 of those work in Northern Ontario. It's due to the closure of 9 WSIB office branches, including 5 in this region. The union says this impacts any worker needing benefits or return to work support from the agency.
They won't be able to come into the door to get one-on-one service. That's just dead wrong. see that as a complete lack of service.
In an email to CTV News, a WSIB spokesperson says Sudbury hasn't had a storefront office since 2022, but does have 91 healthcare partners in the community, adding in part, "We will also continue to have a local team to provide in-person return-to-work support."
Having decision makers in your local community means you have people who understand what life is like in those communities. For those of us that live in northern communities, we know that the access to medical care is not the same as it is in central Ontario.
Of the 238 unionized workers laid off in the Northeast, 136 are from Sudbury, 20 from Sault Ste. Marie, 15 in North Bay, and a dozen in Timmins. In their email, the spokesperson for WSIB says the adjustment to local staffing needs will consolidate claim and account management functions, saying in part, "We recognize this is difficult news for impacted team members and their families." In the meantime, Gosselin says the union is planning a full-scale pushback campaign, including reaching out to the Premier and the Ministry of Labour.
We intend to come full out, do everything we possibly can, turn over every single stone to save every one of these jobs and protect services for workers.
CTV reached out to the Ministry of Labour for comment, but did not hear back by our deadline. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, could a scientific balloon help in forest fire prevention? Plus, how the Northern Ontario Hockey Association plans to crack down on bad behavior. Stay with us. A group of student engineers and researchers is looking to the sky for a new way to help prevent wildfires. The Safari Apex project from Montreal's École de Technologie Supérieure is currently working at the Timmins stratospheric balloon base, testing its project. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
The Safari Apex team has developed a prototype that uses cameras and artificial intelligence to monitor forests from above. The system is designed to spot conditions that could make an area more vulnerable to fire before one actually starts. Sergei Markov is an IT engineer and one of the people behind the project.
So we are trying to just map all the forests, and with this we would be able to predict the risk of a fire happening in those areas.
Markov says the system could analyze factors such as vegetation, soil, and humidity. He says that information could help authorities target prevention work in areas where the risk is highest.
So if we see that our risk is really high in this area, we could send a team over there trying to cut some trees, maybe trying to diversify the type of plantation in those areas.
The prototype, called Borealis, was sent up on a Canadian Space Agency stratospheric balloon in Timmins. The team plans to continue testing the technology with the eventual goal of getting this kind of information to emergency services faster.
I guess I would say that there isn't any such technology right now, mostly not developed by students, and we kind of want to put the youth up front for a problem that is concerning us and our children, grandchildren, and just to make a difference in what seems to be a super imminent threat.
The team has already won an Innovation in Research Award and was a finalist in the University Programs category of the Space Tech Challenge in California. The team hopes this is just the beginning. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
With the hockey season fast approaching, the Northern Ontario Hockey Association is looking to crack down on poor behavior at the rink. As CTV's Eric Tashner reports, the NOHA wants to bring in volunteers to help review and resolve conflicts.
Unacceptable behavior at hockey rinks is at a breaking point, according to the Northern Ontario Hockey Association. The NOHA says on file, last season there were 25 incidents of parent behavior reported and around 70 cases of maltreatment, either towards officials, opposing players, coaches, or fans.
Ultimately, we want parents to show respect to other parents, to opposing teams, etc. We want coaches to respect one another, players to respect one another.
Marchand says this season the association is taking a drastic step to get ahead of the problem. It's looking for volunteers who are judges, police officers, firefighters, teachers, or lawyers to adjudicate, review, and resolve conduct incidents fairly.
Any type of maltreatment, disrespect, inappropriate behavior, at the rink, at hotels will not be tolerated.
This happened for years, but now hopefully this new initiative will help solve that problem.
Volunteers would need to commit 100 hours per year and would get full travel coverage and stipend. If an incident occurs, the volunteer would conduct interviews with witnesses, gather all of the facts, and bring a report to the NOHA.
We want to take all complaints seriously and deal with them quickly.
From there, the association says it will decide if any disciplinary action needs to be taken. One of the main issues continues to be referee abuse.
Which isn't fair to them because a lot of them are just kids. So everybody's there for exercise and have a good time.
So far, the Hockey Association has 50 volunteers signed up willing to try and make the game better for all. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Now to a quick note for drivers. There will be an increased military traffic on Highway 17 for the next 2 days. Army reservists from 33 Canadian Brigade Group are headed to Petawawa to take part in the Wolfpack Guardian exercise starting this weekend. This and other convoys across the province will transport more than 500 soldiers and equipment to the garrison near Ottawa. Drivers are asked to proceed with caution around the convoys. When we return, Tony chats with a local author and we see what's entertaining the polar bears in Cochrane lately. You're watching First at 5.
A North Bay author has returned from the United States with a handful of hardware. Laura Frost won 2 awards at the International Impact Book Awards Gala in July for her book, Seeking Sasha. To talk more about her recent honors, let's bring in Laura Frost. Hi there, Laura.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Tell our viewers about the 2 awards.
So the first one, as you mentioned, is the International Impact Book Award. I won an award for the mystery thriller category. I got to go down to Phoenix to the whole Gala Awards ceremony. And the other award is the Literary Titan Award, which I got a wonderful certificate in the mail for that one. And I'm thrilled with both awards.
So how did you become a finalist for these categories?
It's through a submission process. So myself and my publicist together chose some award categories to submit to, and these 2 awards, they contacted us and said, yes, we love your book and we'd love to recognize you with these awards.
So what were the judges looking for? Did they tell you why you won the awards? They must have been seeking something other than Sasha in particular.
Yes, it was, a combination of character work, engaging plot, good pacing, and overall an engaging read. So I was thrilled to hear that, a couple different places saw that in my work and let me know. And now I can let the world know that I have these awards behind my book.
How true. You're an award-winning author. You've written novels and short stories, and the last time we spoke, you mentioned you were working on the sequel to Seeking Sasha. What's the status of that book?
It is still in the editorial stage, so I don't have a release date for it yet, but I am working on it, and readers keep contacting me, asking for me to get it finished so they can get it in their hands. So it is coming. I just don't know when yet.
Before we wrap up, what message do you have out there for young authors or those looking to enter, these types of contests?
Just keep writing, keep finding your ideal audience, because your work might not sit perfectly with one person, but somebody else is going to fall in love with it. And when you find your audience, then you can find some award categories that might fit with that same audience, and just keep pushing, because even if you get some no's along the way, there's definitely yeses down the road.
Laura, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. And once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Laura Frost joined us from North Bay. By the way, to see more Northern Book Club segments, head to our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca.
Our first community close-up takes us to Greater Sudbury, where Afrofest is back. The festival celebrating African heritage and culture will run at Bell Park starting this Friday, the 21st, and continue Saturday, the 22nd. Organizers say the event is free to attend, with many performances scheduled to take the stage and a wide variety of vendors signed up. People can expect to discover new flavors and experiences, shop art, fashion, crafts, and unique products, plus meet local entrepreneurs and organizations. Next, we're off to Matachewan, where Carol Knott was able to capture all of the phases of a monarch, from a caterpillar to a cocoon to what she calls the most beautiful stage, the butterfly. It never gets old seeing this incredible transformation, and I'm sure most of us have core childhood memories that include these very scenes. Thank you for sharing the beauty of it all, Carol. And speaking of beautiful views, Rick Elliott in Sudbury wanted to share one of his favorites from his backyard. He says he was admiring his flowers while the golden hour light was catching the tops of the pine trees in the background, creating a photo that needs no editing. Nothing like the beauty of our own backyard, isn't that right? And if you have any pictures, videos, or events you'd like us to showcase, please email them to us at communitycloseup@bellmedia.ca and include your name, location, and a short description. Well, finally for us tonight, an upcycling project in Cochrane has gone to the bears, literally. The animal care team at the Cochrane Polar Bear Habitat spent hours hand-weaving a huge floating raft out of heavy-duty fire hose donated by an Ottawa fire station. After hours of testing, splashing, of course biting, the bears eventually found a weak spot in the design, tearing the entire raft apart. It's just the latest addition to playtime at the habitat. A team member also recently brought in rubber duckies for all the bears to enjoy in the water. And I'm sure those did not last very long either, but hey, those bears are just having a ball. Good while it lasted. More news for the North coming up at 6. Continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.